calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean.
Well, I think, honestly, I really think this would be an amazing thing to happen because there's so many different reasons. Yes, the media experience, that makes so much sense. I mean, just she would adapt to this so quickly. But I think another thing that would really, the media would be so pissed.
Oh.
Everybody was so pissed at this because they tried to destroy her during the Arizona when she ran governor, everything that they did to her, and her coming on top like this.
Oh.
She's going to be answering for the president.
Oh, yeah.
This will be like Trump's right hand, and it's like her, and they're just going to look at that and just say, "Wow!" Just when they thought they had her down, here she is rising up like a phoenix from the ashes.
Yeah, Caroline Leavitt by far is the best press secretary in history, and I don't say that lightly. There's been a lot of them. And she tears them down too, but her style's different than Carrie Lake. She's more polite about it. Carrie Lake's not polite.
Yeah. No, she's much more direct. She's much more aggressive in her language, the way she talks. I mean, when we watch Caroline Leavitt talk, I mean, there was times where she just really, you could see she wasn't having it from them, and she brought that out a little bit. So Carrie Lake, it's turned up to 11 all the time.
Well, first of all, the press hate Carrie Lake as much as they hate President Trump. They just hate Carrie Lake. So she's going to come in there, and they're going to be fuming, boiling with rage, right? And then when it comes back and forth, and she feeds it back to them, and tears the. It'd be like having Tom Homan up there. You know how Tom Homan does. It'd be kind of like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what she's right cut from the same cloth. And I think what's going to happen is, this is a great possibility. When I saw the thumbnail when you had it on, like, oh my, that was just. That's perfect,
it's exciting, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and because I was thinking, like, how can you get close to Caroline Leavitt after the bars that she set? And I'm thinking to myself, Carrie Lake, with her components of her, what makes her unique.
Oh, Carrie Lake would be awesome. Yeah, I'm hearing some of these names. Like I saw someone earlier, they were talking about Scott Jennings. I don't trust Scott Jennings after that fake Mitch McConnell phone call. I wouldn't trust him. And, whoever the press secretary is, they're with the president in the Oval Office all the time. Carrie Lake would be perfect for it. And it might even prepare her to be like maybe J.D. Vance's running mate or something.
Yeah, because like again, if she gets elevated to the status of to that level, that she'll have incredible credibility.
There's no the White House has not released a list. Basically, people in the media are coming up with their wish list of people. So but Carrie Lake, it has been reported that the president is considering Carrie Lake.
Now there's a short list. Now you said there's a couple other people now. I didn't look into who those people
were. Nothing really all that great. Scott Jennings, a couple people that work at the White House. Nothing exciting. Yeah, I'll tell you, if Scott Jennings didn't fake that phone call with Mitch McConnell, he might be a more realistic choice. But I don't know how the president could trust him after that.
I think that Scott Jennings is fine just where he is, just to kind of handle
on CNN.
And I think we just use
stay with your friends on CNN. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know if I would trust him.
Yeah, I think Carrie Lake is 100%.
Is there anyone better? I mean, can you think of anyone better? I can't.
Well, she's very good at handling crowds. She's done enough work also for rallies and things. Just that alone, her experience in public. And, being in front of a camera, and all, combine those things, because there's going to be a press right in front of her. She's dealing with them.
Oh, yeah, it'd be beautiful.
They've been in her face.
Ever since
she declared herself, they've been in her face. She can handle the press.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it.
All right. All right, well, listen, I appreciate the call. Yeah, I know it's exciting. All right, you take care. Yeah, if you're on hold, hang in there. It's very exciting. Now, you're welcome to call me about the press secretary job and what you think of Carrie Lake. I can't think of anyone that would be better as press secretary. If you can, let me know. I want to talk about this Southern Poverty Law Center arrest. I'm very excited about the Attorney General going after the Southern Poverty Law Center. Let me just play this. This is on the arrest at the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Fox News alert breaking moments ago. Fox News confirming the arrest of former Southern Poverty Law Center executive Heidi Byron. Sources say she is accused of overseeing secret payments and performance. Attorney General Todd Blanche referenced the this individual participated in the scheme as alleged. I believe she was part of the effort to open bank accounts in completely fictitious companies' names and make payments to individuals for reasons that were not that they were not accurate as described. But I don't have. I think the indictment was unsealed this morning. I don't have, or I believe it was unsealed this morning. I think the arrest was this morning. The New York Post reports that Byron found $1.2 million in SPLC donor money to an informant in a white supremacist group.
Okay. Now, yeah, a lot of people talk about Alina Habba, and Alina Habba would be very good, and she would be great as White House press secretary, but she wouldn't be as good as Carrie Lake. There's no way. No one would be as good as or better than Carrie Lake. Alina Habba would be very good, but she wouldn't be as good as or better than Carrie Lake. There's no way about it. If you're on hold, hang in there. Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center, this is amazing because what has been proven, and I was very surprised when this came out about the Southern Poverty Law Center. We all knew that, these skinheads and Klansmen that kept showing up all the time, that it was nonsense, okay? We all knew that it wasn't real and they were fake groups and all of that. We all knew. But we did not know that the Southern Poverty Law Center was behind it. And what Todd Blanche had found out weeks and weeks ago, and now we have this arrest yesterday, is that the Klan, the white supremacists, the neo-Nazis have been out of business for decades. But the Southern Poverty Law Center was using the money that they were raising from donors who thought they were donating money to stop these hate groups. They were using the money to pay people to come out and have Klan rallies, right? White supremacist rallies and such. And so the Klan, the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, they have not been an organized movement for 30 years or more, maybe longer. And the only reason they've had any semblance of being around and active is because the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is a left-wing group run by left-wing activists, have been keeping the illusion of these racist groups around. This is one of the most important political stories of our lifetime, and I'll be covering it a lot. All right, let's take some more calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good afternoon. It's Richie. How you doing,
Hey,
bro?
Richie. All right.
Huh?
All right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Here's, I think that's an excellent choice that you said, Carrie Lake.
Carrie Lake would be the best.
But I believe that. But you want to know a good runner-up would be? You want to tick the press off. Who do they call the Nazi in the White House? The press calls him that.
Oh, Stephen Miller?
And his wife.
Yeah, people are talking about her too.
Yeah, his wife would make an excellent choice also. I would think Carrie Lake I would pick for one, but I mean, they would be ticked off. You want to get them ticked off. That's what makes for good.
I watch her podcast and it's good, but I haven't, and I've seen her on CNN a couple of times, and Stephen Miller's wife is very good on her podcast. I've seen her on CNN do okay, but she's no Carrie Lake.
Oh, there's nobody like Carrie Lake. You know what also might be pretty good? The one on Newsmax at night. Her Schlack's wife, what's her name? I forgot her name. You know who I'm talking about? She's always on the panel. She's older now. She's a Cuban woman, Cuban American.
I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Schlack, what's his name? Schlack.
Yeah, I can't think of the name either. But her
husband's got gray hair. Yeah.
Stephen Miller's wife is from Weston in Broward County. She grew up in Weston. It was very surprising.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she went to high school there and everything. She's a local girl here in South Florida.
And she's Jewish. You want to tick them off real good,
Yeah, pick a Jew. That'll really piss them off. But now let me tell you, I could not believe how great of a job when Caroline Leavitt was first announced, I thought she was too young, and there's just and she's the best ever. There's been no one as great as her, and I have followed every press secretary my entire life. I've always been interested in this, even as a little kid, and there's no one like her. But Stephen Miller's wife is good, but she's not anywhere. I don't think she's ready to do that. That's a whole nother thing.
Well, I know, but Levitt, she came out there, and I never seen. She was young, but she took them apart like she had a razor blade, to the point where they were afraid to say anything.
And she was always polite about it. Yeah.
Yeah, she knew how to do it. She knew how to get under their skin and how to put them down and shut them up.
Carrie Lake is a pit bull. It would be very combative with Carrie Lake, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be like Caroline Levitt.
No. You know, well, Carrie Lake, you know, it would be, first of all, she hates him anyway. She calls them fake news.
Yes, exactly.
They know
and she'll come out there and call it. All right, who wants to be the first fake news reporter to ask a question today? You know, she would call them. We're here for our first fake news press conference. I'm happy to be here at the fake news press conference today. Yeah, I mean, she would call them fake news every day when she came out there. Hello to the fake news. It's time for the fake news press conference. Oh my goodness.
On top of that, how long was she an anchor? 25, 30 years?
Yeah, she had over 20 years experience.
So she knows how to do television. I mean, not for nothing, she's a perfect choice. I actually would have picked her over Levitt anyway.
Well, Caroline Levitt, I thought when she first got there, her husband is like a billionaire, right? So and so I figured, well, maybe he's a big donor and everything. I had no idea how good she was. I mean, Caroline Levitt, I think shocked everyone when we saw how good she is still today with the press.
Yeah. Hey, did you think I had a stroke this morning? It's not that. I just want to say something about that.
You were sounding. You were just not yourself.
No. Here's the deal, and I want to clarify this. I believe 100% what you believe, but I also don't want the government getting in the bedroom. I mean, on both sides, and especially the left.
Yeah, but what happened with that conversation today? I just tell you. You and I were having two different conversations. I was talking about a very specific thing that happened, and you were talking about this generic thing about abortion and stuff. And we were having two different. We were talking about two different things.
Well, your topic this morning, I'm 100% behind what you were there because they are butch. There's no question in my mind. I'm pro-life, okay?
Well, I don't want. I got a lot to cover. I don't want to get involved in all that right now, but because I want to move on to some other things. But there is whoever the president picks will be good, but there's nobody equal to or greater than Carrie Lake.
He always makes the right choice. So whatever he picks, I'm sure what's in his head, and somebody that's going to be loyal to him is most important to President Trump. And there's nobody more loyal than Carrie Lake. She went down with him. She still says it was a stolen election. She's the perfect choice.
Well, the problem with Arizona, Arizona only has like 3 or 4 counties in it, and Maricopa is the biggest by far, and it's corrupt. And she's got there's two things in Arizona. You've got the Democrat Party machine, and you've got the John McCain Party machine is still in place. And they're just not going to let her win an election in Arizona. It's just not going to happen.
No. When Charlie Kirk said that it was, he knew it was a fixed deal in Maricopa County.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk lived there. He went out of his way to make sure things went right.
No, it's a corrupt county. Yeah. All right, Richie, I'm going to move on, but I appreciate it. I'm glad you're. Yeah, Richie did sound like he had a stroke this morning. If you missed the morning show, so let me get back to this arrest with the Southern Poverty Law Center. This is one of the biggest politicals, and you're welcome to call in, by the way, about the press secretary pick. And the number is toll free 888-465-2631 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. The Southern Poverty Law Center exposure and arrest, when I say it's probably the biggest political scandal of our lifetime, I don't say that lightly. There's been a lot of scandals. But, you've heard me talk many times, as an example, when Charlottesville happened, okay? A couple things, and I pointed out about Charlottesville. I said, if the Klan and the white supremacists and the Nazis are so organized and active, where were they during the 8 years that Obama was president? There's nothing that would piss them off more than having a black president. And for them to be organized and pissed off when there's a white Republican in office and not be out there protesting when there's a black president. And then we didn't see them come after Kamala, the first non-white vice president, right? One thing, I've pointed this out many times, when you see these white supremacists, like in Charlottesville, I talked about this, but I point this out in many of these places. When you look at their flags, they have their Confederate flags, their Nazi flags. Oftentimes, they have little square creases in them, and because they're brand new right out of the package. And almost always the flags look brand new, even the ones that don't have the creases. The real Nazis and the white supremacists, they have these flags for years. They don't have brand new flags right out of the package. They have them pinned up to the walls in their living rooms and bedrooms. They take the thumbtacks out and bring it to the rally if they're real, right? And the ones with all the racist tats, I said, why don't they go up to them with spray cleaner and a washcloth and see if those are real tats or like those henna tattoos, like they do in the movies, right? And a lot of people over the years, when I've pointed these things out and more about these groups, would laugh at me. And the Southern Poverty Law Center, we have the documents. And this is not getting a lot of press coverage because the media don't want you to know about this. But the Southern Poverty Law Center all these white supremacist Nazi groups are all fake. They were being put up and organized and paid for by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, this is criminal. It's a financial crime, which is pretty severe and easy for them to prove. So that may be what the main prosecution is about, because they're taking money from people in donations who want to stop these groups, these hate groups, but they're the ones that are the hate groups. The hate groups are fake. They're all fronts for the Southern Poverty Law Center. So they were creating hate groups, it would be, to take it away from this, it would be like this. If I had a private fire department, right? A private fire department, and I got paid per fire. Like, people in the community would donate money to me every time I put out a fire. But then you found out that I was the arsonist, that I was going around starting all the fires. Well, that's what the Southern Poverty Law Center was doing. And when Todd Blanche, hey Kathy, can you call Emily? Yeah. Okay, my daughter was just calling me on FaceTime. But if it's important, tell her I'll call her when I'm done, okay? Or I'll go to break and call her during commercial. That's my daughter calling. I always take her calls, but my wife's here, contrary to what ChatGPT says, and she'll talk to her. But, you know, so the disservice and the crime they've done on top of this financial crime, right? What they've done to the country is cause so much fake division by being the front for all of these so-called hate groups, that these hate groups, we had rid this country of these white supremacist hate groups decades ago, okay? And these liberals at the Southern Poverty Law Center were keeping an illusion that these hate groups were still around and active. And on top of the financial crime, there's a moral crime. And I'll tell you, if they, like as an example, if they were behind some of what happened in Charlottesville, there was a woman who lost her life in Charlottesville. And if they were responsible for that event, would they not have criminal responsibility in the death of that woman in Charlottesville? And God knows what else they've done over the years. This is huge. And I'll be doing a lot of coverage on everything going on with the Southern Poverty Law Center. It's that important. All right, now listen, I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's more to share. My name is Brian. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat. We'll be right back. FreedomShareSolutions.com comes in. Freedom Share Solutions is a timeshare referral company dedicated to helping connect you with the right professionals for your unique situation. Freedom Share Solutions have built a trusted network of companies and do the research for you, so you don't have to spend countless hours trying to figure out who to trust. Best of all, Freedom Share Solutions is commission-based. That means they don't get paid unless you're successful in exiting your timeshare. Their success depends on yours. If you're ready to take the first step toward freedom from your timeshare, let All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes from. Okay, little family chaos, but everything's okay. I'll call my daughter back when we're done. We talked to her during the break, my wife and I, and just checking in about something. Nothing major. But when the phone rings and it's your child, no matter if they're pushing 30, you stop what you're doing and you run. All right, I'll take some more calls. We got a lot to cover, lots of great things happening. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, Brian. It's Danielle with Michigan. I'm so glad I was able to catch your show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just got off work and I'm catching a little bit. But in regards to the Southern Poverty Law or whatever it's called, you know who's involved in that, right? In the great state of Michigan?
Who's that?
Benson.
Who?
Benson.
Oh, okay.
Benson. The one, yeah, the corrupt Benson, the one that's running for the, what is she running for? Governor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Benson has got involvement, so it's going to all come out. I'm just waiting for it to all come out, but she is in kind of deep doo-doo in Michigan. So,
well,
yeah,
the Southern Poverty Law Center, they already have a lot of documents that show that they've been paying to keep, to get these Klansmen and white supremacists and Nazis to do their thing.
Yeah.
And I was in shock because think about it. The Nazis, the white supremacists, and the Ku Klux Klan have been organized, controlled, and totally financed, not just by liberals, but black liberals in many instances at the Southern Poverty Law Center. It's crazy. You know what it is? It's a hate crime against America that they were committing.
And that arrest the other day, awesome. That arrest is just the tip of the
they've caused, let me tell you, they've caused a lot of problems where people have gotten killed. One woman was killed in Charlottesville, remember? Now, remember when the car ran over her? And over the years, I'd like to see a really deep investigation and find out what, these race riots that we had, like in Ferguson years ago, how many of them were they behind?
Oh, definitely. Oh, I think, hey, Brian, I think it. All I can say is this: I think it's all coming out. There's so much stuff happening right now. My head is spinning with everything. I mean, I love Tom Fitton and everything that he's doing. I mean, it is just massive. And I mean, some people that aren't like really paying attention to it or aren't as involved as we are, they're going to be like left with their mouths open, like, what?
And you know what?
I really truly believe.
Yeah, go ahead.
That big thing. I just got to be honest. I really truly believe that there's big things that are getting ready to happen to be uncovered.
Liberals are getting arrested, and this is swamp draining. And if Pam Bondi had stayed Attorney General, this Southern Poverty Law Center case, I don't believe ever would have happened.
And well, hey, I like who we got in there now.
Oh yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. I like what's happening. We just have to be a little patient. I know everybody gets impatient. We want it now. Of course we want it now.
Mm-hmm.
We want justice because we know what's been happening to the American people.
Absolutely.
And I really feel that justice is coming. And, I do have maybe one friend that's on the other side, and I have one family member. And I was telling my one sister today, I said, I don't even feel like I have to school these people anymore because with everything that's going to be happening and coming out, I mean, everybody's going to see it with their own eyes.
Now let me ask, you're in Michigan. What kind of coverage is Ahmed getting in the news in Michigan? Like this Blues Clues video of him I found it really. Have you seen the Blues Clues video?
I have not.
Okay, yeah, are you familiar
you
with?
talking
Are
about
you
the
familiar
Muslim?
with the children's show Blues Clues? They used to, from like the '90s.
Yeah, yes, a long
He
time
did.
ago, yes.
Okay, he did a. I used to watch it with my daughter when she was a little girl.
Okay.
And I mean, one of her birthdays, we had impersonator come as the Blues Clues guy, and it was pretty cool. But anyway, Ahmed did another video where with the Blues Clues set, and he was reenacting a Blues Clues episode about voting. It was so weird and creepy to see a grown man do this. It was very creepy. It's very viral on X. You take a look at it. He's a strange dude.
He's making everybody in Michigan very upset. He really badmouths Mackinac Island, and let me just tell you something. Michiganders, we're not stupid, irregardless.
Well, let me
of
ask you. Let me ask you about that, because that's such a local thing, And I saw it got a lot of press. Mackinac Island. He said he hates it there. I guess because it's too white or something. No prayer rooms and things. But is that a big deal to people in Michigan that he was caught on mic saying that? Do people care? Does that piss people off?
Well, yeah, it sure does, because Mackinac Island is one of the treasures and beauties of Michigan. So,
Okay.
yeah,
No, that's
of course
good.
it
Well,
does.
good, because he's a
It
creep.
Yeah, he is a creep, and it's a beautiful place, and people love to go there. Yes, that is not a cool thing. He is off the rails, unhinged.
Well, you know what it is. Like you guys know, I'm in Florida. I'm in South Florida. I've lived here since I was 11 years old. My wife was born and raised here in Florida, and you hear me all the time. I love Florida. Florida is the greatest state in the union. I will never live in another state. I love Florida, and I love everything about it. When you're running to represent a state in the Senate, or you're running for governor, you need to love the state and the people in it, not hate them, not despise them or part of them. And he's a first generation Trojan horse guy. Both of his parents are from Egypt. There was a great television show on FX called The Americans about those Russian spies. Are you familiar with that show?
No,
Oh, it's
I'm
great.
not.
You would love it. It's on Hulu. It was an FX show. And I watched it originally because it took place in the 80s. And, I grew up in the 80s, so I wanted to watch it. Well, they were Russian sleeper agents. And half of the series they had children. And half the series was about their children being first-generation Americans. Their identities wouldn't hold up to a security check, but their kids would, right? And, you know what I mean? And that's how Ahmed is. His father-in-law is connected to the Muslim Brotherhood, which is a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
Both of his parents are from Egypt. He's a first-generation American that they're implanting here to help destroy this country. And the comments that he made about that island in Michigan shows that he hates the people of Michigan.
Yeah, Mackinac Island, yeah.
Mecca Island? It can't be Mecca Island.
Mackinac.
Mackinac, okay.
Mackinac.
Okay.
Mackinac.
Mecca he loves. He loves
Beautiful.
Mecca, the holy city of the Muslims,
Yeah,
Mecca.
he sure does. But let's not forget also. Yeah, right. Let's not forget his friend, Piker.
Hassan
Let's
Piker.
not forget him and everything that's coming out about this sicko and what he says he wants to do to our women and our daughters.
Well, Hassan Piker is so vile. You notice I don't play clips of Hassan Piker because they're so vile. I can't play them on the show.
Yeah. No, he's sick. And he's from here, but then he was taken over to
Turkey.
He was
Turkey. He was raised in Turkey.
Yeah, he was taken over. That's correct. And he doesn't love this country, and neither does the Muslim in Michigan. And there's a big thing now next week happening. You've heard about it with Jake. I work, not too far from where it's all going to happen, but it's going to be peaceful and patriotic because that's what Jake.
Well,
is.
Hassan.
If there's any bikers or whoever comes
the things
we're not going to cause problems.
The things that Hassan Piker has said are so vile. What he said about women, he says they're coming here to American Muslims to impregnate our daughters and our sisters so they can eliminate white people. And he says it in a very crude way.
Correct.
I mean, the things he says about women, and one thing, what's missing in Hassan's life You don't see him with women. And this, you would think a guy like this would be surrounded by beautiful Muslim women, or at least one. Why is he always without women? I've never seen him with a woman. Have you?
He's a sick man. But let me tell you something else. The sick thing that he said about 9/11.
Oh well, that's unforgivable.
What an evil. It's going to be very interesting, Brian, to see what's going to happen in New York on come the 25th anniversary of 9/11. Because I'm going to tell you something. They don't want that. They don't want that man Donnie there.
And he's going.
They do not.
He's
want
going.
him.
Well, listen, I'm going to move on, but
want
you
him.
make some good points. I agree. You're right. But thanks for your call. All right, you take care.
I'll keep you posted in Michigan.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you're new, welcome to the program. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can call in, and the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Jefferson out of California.
Hey, what's up?
I think you're right on in regards to Carrie Lake. I can't imagine anybody who would be more deserving, well fitted for the position. Also, her and Trump have a shared experience with the election process where they were both done dirty. That I think that creates a sense of loyalty that I don't think anybody else could actually say that they're able to share. I don't think anybody else. Plus, everybody knows that she's a bulldog. Every time he ends up replacing somebody in his cabinet, for whatever reason they leave, the next person is like
better,
more fantastic than the one that was there. And like I said, Stephen Miller, he's fantastic. I just don't know if he would be she has a polish from her years. From her 25
Stephen Miller is, let me tell you, and I say this often, anytime Stephen Miller's talking on television, I stop what I'm doing and listen. Okay?
Yeah.
And he's very good, but he's not one to do a quick back and forth. You know what I mean?
Right.
He goes for a while. He would do good, but he wouldn't be Carrie Lake. Alina Habba would do a good job, but she wouldn't be Carrie Lake. There's no one equal to or greater than Carrie Lake for that job.
I think the three positions that I think Carrie Lake either wants or desires would definitely be the press secretary. And then I also think that it might actually help if she decides to run again in Arizona, either as a senator or for a governor. I don't know if their senators are going to be coming up anytime soon for re-election.
Well, one of her children live here in South Florida. And I'm not sure if she still lives in Arizona. I don't know. But if Carrie Lake should get this job, and she should move to Florida so she can run for Congress here in Florida, and we would elect her happily.
Most definitely. I think that's what she's potentially aiming for, and I think that the notoriety of being the press secretary, that exposure within that realm. She's already been exposed, and because of Trump and the whole administration, I think, really stands by her and thinks that she's a solid person, and
I love Carrie Lake. I've interviewed her twice on the program, and she's listened to me on the show, and that's how I know about her daughter, because they all have listened to me on the radio.
She was one of the first female individuals that was on Trump's side and team. That, in my opinion, was like so exceptional. Her diction, her delivery, her ability to, just
and she's also charismatic and commands the room wherever she's in. She's like a movie star.
Yes. As soon as she comes into, I hope she gets it. But we have like a month, and I think we're going to be seeing, the other press secretary who's stepping down.
Listen, Caroline Leavitt is married to a multi-billionaire. She has no worries. I wouldn't be working if I were her either, probably, right? You know what I mean?
No, I don't worry. I don't worry.
I don't know.
About
I certainly wouldn't be doing like 3 or 4 live streams a day on YouTube. I might just do one if I became a billionaire.
You'll get there one day, Brian.
You think I'd be doing live streams at 4 a.m., 4:30 in the
Yes,
morning.
I do.
You do? My wife
Yes,
says the
I
same
do.
thing. My wife tells me the same thing.
I did. I wanted to actually also do a thank you to you for one of your products.
Oh,
I end up working night shifts because many times I'm on the West Coast and I call your radio show in the middle of the night over here.
Yep.
And you had a book in regards to shift work.
oh yes, that's a
And
great
I bought
book.
That.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
great.
I bought that. So thank you very much. It's been very helpful in regards to getting some
That's a good
ideas
book.
So that, because night work can be debilitating to the health. So I really do thank you for...
I'm kind of like I appreciate it. I'm kind of like a night worker myself because I get up and, like...
No, you're...
I get up at like 12:30 in the morning.
You don't have a rhythm. I don't
No.
think, because you're up. You're up at all times.
That's true. That's true.
I don't think there's a book for that.
Well, I appreciate
And
you
if you were a
supporting the
billionaire-
sponsors. I do. My wife tells me the same thing. She says, Brian, you're never going to retire, and no matter how much money we
You're
had,
never,
you'd
no.
still be working.
Your spirit is in it. And,
That's right.
And this is one of the most interesting times to be alive.
Well, I got to tell you, a lot of you know, I did go to college to be a school teacher, which I obviously never did because school teachers don't pay as much as this. But I went to broadcasting school because I wanted to get in radio, and I mean, it's with all the new technology. I mean, I've got a radio station that is syndicated around America and the world in this beautiful studio at my house, right? Yeah, and I'm on about 10 radio stations every morning, and I'm right in my home studio at my house. I mean, it's absolutely. I'm living the dream. It's amazing.
It is a true blessing that one morning while I was working, I ended up stumbling onto your show. And it's the one right before you ended up leaving and getting bought out, the one that had the pillar in the middle that had the sign on it.
Oh, yeah. That was it. Yes. With the big window behind me that had tape all over it.
Yeah, that's when I ended up finding you. And you didn't, and ever since then, I've seen you blossom and do more and more sponsorships and this, that, and the other.
Awesome.
And I'm just so happy that you're able to take something that you're so passionate about and be able to generate.
Well, I appreciate that.
So,
Well, thanks so much. I appreciate all the kind words and the support. You take care. Speaking of sponsors, I want to talk about Tom Laporta. Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, he's a good MAGA guy who will never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. And no other roofing company says that. None. And I've met so many and talked to so many people in this audience that thought they needed new roofs. Tom Laporta came out and said, no, you just need to repair. There was one guy I know, he had a leak, he thought, because he had a wet spot on his ceiling. Tom came out, it wasn't a leak, his AC drain was dripping. He had a 2-story house, right? So he had air conditioning upstairs and downstairs, and the air conditioning line was dripping. And he's like, no, you don't even have a leak, it's just this. You don't find honesty like that that you see with Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing in the roofing industry. It's absolutely amazing. Give him a call. I'm going to give you his number in a moment. It rings directly to his cell phone, so you can call or text Tom Laporta. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida, from the Atlantic Ocean, where I'm at, all the way across the state to the Gulf of America and everywhere in between. His number, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And remember, you can call or text him, all right? Now, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
All right, we're back. And the link to that Bible study is in the description on whatever platform you're listening on. Please click that Bible study. Check it out. It's a very good Bible study. They have live streams every week, but a couple times a week, but you don't have to you can watch them after the live. Again, the link is in the description, all right? It says Bible study, and then the link's right there. A couple things before I get back to the news. Number one, there's a poll in the live chat on my main YouTube live feed there. Should Kari Lake be the next press secretary, yes or no? So if you're in the live chat, please participate in that poll. Also, for those of you that are members to the channel, my wife just updated a whole bunch of new emojis. So those of you that are members, if you could show all the emojis. When you become a member to the channel, which is just $5 a month, you get your name in a special color so you stand out in the chat and I can see you really well in the live chat. And you get access to the members only emojis, okay? And she created a whole bunch of new ones, including a Charlie Kirk emoji, all right? And I want to tell you about something that I saw, and I wasn't going to bring this up, but since I'm talking, you know, those of you that are Patreon supporters, that are members, thank you so much for your support. And I was watching a live stream right before my live stream today, and I saw someone do something that I had never seen before on YouTube. They had a goal of how many super chats they would have to get before they would start talking about the topic. And they wouldn't start talking about the topic until they reached their super chat goal. I couldn't believe it. And I was watching this. It was pretty strange. And they had said that they saw a live stream. They started doing this because they saw another live stream that did this. And they wouldn't start talking until they raised $500 in super chats. And I just, you know, and those of you out there that support me through either membership or being Patreon supporters, I do give you exclusive things in exchange and in appreciation of your support. And those of you that are members, you get your name in the color, special color. You get access to those emojis. And those of you that are Patreon supporters, I do Patreon-only live chats where I talk about things that I cannot talk about here, that I'm not allowed to talk about here or anywhere else. And I give you a lot of exclusive content. But I don't know, I know you guys out there watch other live streams. I've never seen someone say they would not start talking about the topic of the live stream until they reached a certain goal of super chats. And I just thought that was strange. And I kept it on because it was so bizarre, and I guess it was my fault, but I had them on for 30 or 40 minutes and they still had not reached their goal, so they were just basically sitting there. Well, if I get the goal, I'll start talking. I couldn't believe that. I mean, golly, it was pretty bad. Now, draining the swamp is, of course, a cornerstone. I came across this article. It's from Fox News. Look at that. 10 House incumbents lost in the primaries on their re-elections. 10. And I forgot that Dan Crenshaw lost. I just hadn't thought about Dan Crenshaw. But this is absolutely amazing. And you know, a lot of these incumbents, Massey, Crenshaw, some of them are Republicans, a lot of them are Democrats. This creep, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, that guy from Michigan that can't speak English. And it goes on, there's a whole bunch of them. But 10 House incumbents, this is just in the House, 10 House incumbents have lost their primaries. That's almost unheard of. You know, it's one thing to lose the general election, but it is unusual to lose the primaries when you're an incumbent like that. And when someone loses in a primary and they're an incumbent, they're done. It is a very humiliating thing because they're rejected by their own people. If you lose the general election, that's not good either. But at least, like, Republicans, you know, your own party voted for you. When you lose the primary, you're being rejected by your own party. That's ooh, boy. So here's a Democrat on NBC talking about what they're going to do in the new Congress.
As you know, some Democrats are already debating if Democrats are to win back the House in November, whether to move
our oversight tools and our subpoena power to make sure that we're bringing to light the worst of those offenses. I mean, the scale of the self-enrichment and self-dealing that we're seeing, the bribery, foreign governments purchasing, buying
He's not talking about the Bidens. He's talking about Trump. Can you believe this?
into his crypto scheme, the selling of pardons, is corruption on a scale we've never seen. And I believe that will be so deeply offensive to the American people that we absolutely should impeach this president. But we also have to make sure that we're not just filing articles of impeachment, but that we're making the case for why that level of corruption is corrosive and destructive to our republic.
Okay. Yeah, President Trump is not corrupt, and he makes his money the old-fashioned way, honestly, and earned it. And this new thing, I hope they keep talking about impeaching him in these midterms. Yeah, that'll help us a lot. This idea that you impeach a president just because you don't like him, because you didn't vote for him, and you don't think he should be in office. They have diluted what the impeachment is all about, haven't they? I mean, it's ridiculous. How many times did they impeach President Trump in his first term? I lost track. Was it 3 times? The one time was after he left office. I mean, it's stupidity. It's insane. And the Democrat Party have no party platform. Hating Trump and impeaching Trump is not a platform. It's not an idea where people are saying, well, we got to vote for you. You're helping us. It's ridiculous. They stand for nothing. And that will be their undoing. No mistaking it. This is the guy that beat Hong in Wisconsin in the Democrat primary for governor the other night. Listen to this winner.
And every one of us has something much bigger to unite around. And that is keeping MAGA extremism from bringing the chaos we see in Washington into our neighborhoods right here in the state of Wisconsin.
What's he talking about when he says chaos? Is he talking about the crime-free city? How many people have not been murdered or alive today because President Trump cleaned up crime? How's that chaotic? This guy, he's a Democrat socialist, and he's going to lose. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good afternoon. This is Nick out of Baltimore.
Hey, Nick.
Impeach Trump for what?
Exactly. For making America great again. That's a crime to them.
Yeah, and how is it that they could impeach a president when he was out of office?
Yeah, they did it.
That's a new one, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Illegal. The whole thing is illegal. The whole thing is illegal. I'm going to make a prediction, okay? I'll make a prediction that his impeachment will be expunged from his record before he leaves office.
That would be nice.
It will be expunged. And I love the callers. The last caller was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Her name's Stephanie. She was fantastic.
Very good.
I wanted to ask her, I wanted to also make a request. Is there any way that you and Kathy could do a podcast together again?
I ask Kathy all the time to join me on the podcast, and she's just not physically up to. I haven't talked about this in a while, but a lot of Kathy is disabled. She has pretty serious illness. It's called pulmonary hypertension, if you want to look it up, and she's on oxygen, and she's more disabled than you would probably realize. And she's on oxygen. It's hard for her to do a podcast because talking takes a lot of oxygen. And when you're on oxygen and you're talking, it's very difficult. So the reason she stopped doing it is the podcast is it's not good for her health.
Well, she's there on the team, so you're great.
I ask her all the time. And sometimes, those of you that are Patreon supporters, I do Patreon live streams. And I'll throw Kathy a wireless mic, and sometimes she'll talk a little bit on that, on the Patreon live streams. You'll hear her on that. But doing the podcast is just a little too. I ask her all the time to do it.
It's funny because I see you do the Patreon thing, and I always miss it, and I want to play it back, and sometimes you take it down.
Well, sometimes I talk. On Patreon, I tell you I talk about things I can't talk about here. sometimes I bring some things up, and I'm like, well, I don't think I should leave a recording of that up. You know, so some of the ones you got to catch live because the things I talk about are too hot to leave up there to be available after. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I wish Kathy. We all wish her well.
Oh, she's doing well. She's not. She's doing well, but the talking it was pretty taxing on her.
Well, I can understand that, but I just wanted to let you know that you're a great husband and wife team, and
well, thank you.
It's great to have both of you, and so.
Oh yeah, yep. Well, I appreciate it.
That's what I wanted to say. So,
yep.
Hey, thanks for the show.
All right, take care. Yeah, and Kathy helps me out with a lot of things. You know, like the thumbnail on YouTube for this Carrie Lake episode. Kathy, I made a thumbnail. Kathy's like, I'll make one better, and she made the thumbnail that is on the YouTube video, the Carrie Lake video that this episode is of on YouTube. This guy Abdul is bad news. Okay. He's very bad news, and a lot of things are coming out about him, and none of it's good, right? And Hassan Piker's bad too, but he's not running. Abdul's running, so things are coming out about Abdul, and as we get closer to the general election, even more is going to come out about Abdul. And they believe, when I say they, I'm talking about the Muslims in this country. They believe that Abdul could become president one day. And I know that sounds crazy to you guys, but I'm talking about from their perspective, not ours. And if you say there'll never be a Muslim president, my goodness. We have a Muslim mayor of New York City on the eve of the 25th anniversary of 9/11. Who would have ever thought? And, Barack Obama, when he first started running, Joy Behar on The View called him Barack Osama. And it was very common for people to call him Barack Osama. So, we had him, we got a Muslim mayor in New York. So don't write off the realm of impossibility that the Democrats would nominate Abdul. He was born in Michigan. And that would never underestimate the stupidity of liberals. As an example, here in Florida, Governor DeSantis has on the ballot in this election cycle to end property taxes on your personal home. It's your homesteaded property. Many of you don't have homestead deductions in your states, which is crazy, but they want to eliminate property taxes on the home in which you live in. So like my house I'm in right now, I'd have no property tax on it if it passed. But if I have a second home that's an Airbnb or something, I'd have to pay property taxes on that. And the reason that is a number of reasons. One, many people retire to Florida. They sell their house up north, they come down here, they buy a house or a condo, and they find that basically they have a mortgage because they have property taxes, and it's ridiculous. And it's a constitutional amendment in the Florida Constitution. 60% of Floridians have to vote to end property taxes. I'm here to tell you that Democrats not only will vote against ending their own property tax, okay, they would vote to raise it. I've never seen, sometimes we have votes on raising the sales tax. It always passes because idiotic Democrats feel it's honorable to pay more in taxes. It's not going to pass. So we got a Muslim mayor in New York. Abdul is very realistic in their minds to, if he gets in the Senate, to run for president or vice president in the future. And do you think that Abdul should have a security clearance, which he would have if he were vice president, or even in the Senate? If he was in the Senate, he would have access to classified information, and the longer he's there, the more he'd have. Well, so, a lot's starting to come out about him, including this. Listen to this. This is in the Gateway Pundit today. If Michigan Democrats want to bring Sharia to the United States Senate, they've got the candidate to do it. The winner of last week's Democrat primary, Abdul, declared in a New York Times interview in 2009, just 8 years after 9/11, that he had a lifelong obligation to live by the strict Islamic code that most Americans associate with the most repressive regimes of the Middle East. And now he's trying to become a United States Senator. The article in the New York Times, which is the liberal paper of record, was publicized in a report published Tuesday by the Washington Free Beacon, and they have a whole article on it. Let me see if I got the link to the Free Beacon article. Let me go through this. By the way, the Free Beacon is awesome. It's freebeacon.com, the Washington Free Beacon, if you want to Google it, or freebeacon.com. It's an amazing online source of news and information. Here's the original article in the Washington Free Beacon. The headline, revealed El Sayed proclaimed obligation to follow Sharia law until the day he dies. That's pretty scary, isn't it? And they have a whole article going into it and documenting it. Do you think a guy who said that in 2009, or any time really, should be in the United States Senate? I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, by the way, I was asking you all earlier to like the video, because when you like the video, you get it recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. We just hit 200 likes on the live stream just now, so thanks so much everyone who's liked the video, and that does help quite a bit. But you see, already here, we're months away from the November election, and look at how much is coming out about him now. When he's dedicated his life and feels an obligation to follow Sharia law, that's not the kind of guy that belongs in the United States Senate. But liberals, like the liberals that'll vote to increase the taxes, liberals are crazy people, okay? And they'll vote to against what's best for them, because they're a bunch of liberal social justice warrior do-gooders. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once, twice. You missed your chance, okay? This is completely insane to me. Okay, let me pull this up. Let me see. Do I have this queued up? Okay. So this is a video of a school board meeting in Connecticut, okay? And listen to this. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go back to the calls in just a moment. I want to share this. This is crazy. So this teacher who comes to she's at the school board meeting. She's on the school board, and I guess these are cat ears, okay? So she's a member of this school board in Connecticut. She's African American, and she thinks black teachers should be paid more than non-black teachers. And she has a reason. Listen.
So I know we have like some efforts to increase diversity in the district. So I'm wondering, especially around administration, are there financial incentives for black and brown people to work? It's an extra burden, quite frankly, to be a black and brown teacher and administrator.
Really?
And so I think we should start thinking about that financially if we're not already.
Why is it more of a burden to be a teacher or administrator in the public schools than if you're not black? You know, I would say most of the administrators and maybe half of the teachers I had in school, my whole time from kindergarten, were black. My first teacher in kindergarten was black, Miss Payne, in Columbus, Ohio. I remember her well. I didn't have a white teacher until the 3rd grade. All right, I don't know why it would be more of a burden for someone who's black than someone who's not. I don't know. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once, twice. All right, that's good. All right, take care. Appreciate the effort. I guess they chickened out. You know, liberalism has so been exposed over the last few years. But before Trump came down the escalator, then we had the auto pin years, and now Trump's back, we never really could stand up to it. And there was not much we could do about it, you know, in the past. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, no, hold on. Let me answer this one. Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Okay, I appreciate it. Not a problem. Not a problem. School is out for the summer, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. This one just, I couldn't believe this one, okay? And Dollar Store Obama came out of the woodwork. Some people now call him Timu Obama. look at this, okay? Here's a woman who's been in the United States since 1989. That's when I graduated high school, 1989. She doesn't speak a lick of English. Here she is with Dollar Store Obama. Listen.
Les pido que sean campeones de un cambio a la ley de migración. Necesitamos una vía a la ciudadanía para todos quienes estamos presentes por 7 años o más en este país. Okay, I have no idea what she's saying. I speak American. But here she is with Timu Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, and her name's Margarita. And this is also in the Gateway Pundit, by the way. Margarita has been in the United States since 1989. She cannot speak a word of English. 37 years. I know, it's crazy town, isn't it? This week, she stood with leftist leaders and demanded amnesty at a Democrat presser at Delaney Hall. She says in Spanish, we need a path to citizenship for those of us that have been present at least 7 years in this country. I mean, just it's 100% entitlement. If she can't bother to learn even the language in a broken way, what do we owe her? And, you know, here in Florida, you know, I remember when I was in high school, I took Spanish, which I didn't do very well in. And then I had to take it in college too. You know, and I barely got through it in college. If it wasn't for my wife's tutoring help, I may not have graduated college, because to graduate college studying education and history, you have to have 2 semesters of a foreign language. And I tried so many times, and I had all my classes done. And my last 2 semesters of college, I took yet again Spanish 1101 and 1102, and boy, oh boy, I was afraid I wasn't going to graduate college. It was so bad I was going to have to change my major, that didn't require a foreign language, but I got through it thanks to my wife, and thankfully that the final exam was not comprehensive. It was just a quiz from that week's material, or I would have been in big trouble. But you know, but I remember when I was in high school, in 9th grade, I took Spanish, and it was 1985. And there were a lot of Cubans in my class, because I'm in South Florida, and they all spoke Spanish but pretended not to so they could get the easy A. And the class was so advanced, and I did very bad. I did not do well. I didn't pass the class. And I remember my teacher, Miss Wilkes, she told me, she said, Brian, you are not going to be employable in Florida, because by the year 2000... Everything used to be by the year 2000. By the year 2000, she says, by the year 2000, if you don't speak Spanish, you're not going to be able to get a job. Well, I'm in the communication talking business, and I don't speak any Spanish, even though I took it in high school and college, okay? And got C's in it, and Spanish 1101 and 1102. Messed up my GPA. But, you know, they were really pushing that hard on us, and the metric system. And no, you don't need to learn a foreign language. If you speak English in America, you're fine. Okay? You don't have to learn a foreign language. But I think if you come here and want to be a citizen and live your life in this country, you should at least learn a functioning ability to speak it. And you know, when I go to Miami, I've been going to Miami my whole life. I've never had a problem not speaking Spanish. Okay? The Spanish speakers down there, they speak English. And they know, like, if I made a YouTube video. It's on my YouTube channel. I went to that bakery in Little Havana, where President Trump went when he left federal court after they arrested him in Miami. And it's a very good video. And they're speaking Spanish. It's a very famous Cuban bakery. But they help me. They immediately speak English. They look at me. They know I'm a gringo and I don't speak Spanish. I've never had a problem in Miami. No matter where I go, I don't speak a word of Spanish. Sometimes people might laugh at me that I've lived in Florida almost my entire life and I don't speak any Spanish. But I've never had a problem. You don't need to, you speak English, you get by. But if you're in this country, you should speak English. You should learn it, you know. And that's the thing, you know. My wife and I, both of us, are parts of our family are kind of new. My great-grandparents came to the United States at about the same time that my wife's great-grandparents came. And her great-grandparents came from Italy, mine came from Greece. And I don't speak any Greek, and my wife doesn't speak any Italian, okay? And I've mentioned this on the show over the years,
many times, but my grandmother, her father was from, and her mother were from Greece, and they even owned a family Greek restaurant. And I would ask my grandmother sometimes, "Oh, when I was a kid, do you speak? Can you say something in Greek?" And she's like, "I don't speak any Greek." And I said, "Why not?" And she said, "Because," she said, "my dad wanted us to be Americans, not Greeks. He didn't want it. He didn't teach it to us." And I don't know. The only Greek she knew were some swear words that she remembered her dad saying, or like if he stubbed his thumb with a hammer. And that's the way it used to be. And the roles have reversed. And what you see here with Hakeem Jeffries, with this woman who doesn't speak a lick of English, being here longer than some of you listening to me have been alive, the Democrat Party, everything they do is for people in other countries or from other countries. When's the last time the Democrats have done something for an American? And I don't mean a South American, a Latin American. I mean a United States of American. Everything they do is for others, not us. And one of the reasons that there's been such a red wave and so many people have been magnetized by the president is because of just that. When the president says, "Make America Great Again," which is a great campaign slogan, it was originated by the great Ronald Reagan, but President Trump made it famous and made it a working agenda of his entire presidency, right? Both terms. And that involves a lot of things, like being proud of America and doing things that directly help the American people. Now, I know the rest of the world's pretty third world, but that's not our problem. This country has to be taken care of, and not people from other countries in it that they can't even be bothered to learn our language. You know, that's exactly right. She can't even be bothered. Isn't that crazy? It certainly is. If you're new to my program, welcome. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you follow or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. And if you want to catch the show live, where you hear me taking calls and everything else, that's on YouTube. Just search for The Brian Craig Show on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform. But if you want to catch the show live in video form, where you can call in and see all the videos and everything, that's on YouTube. Just search for The Brian Craig Show. And I'm live every morning of the week. Not just weekdays, but also weekends. I'm here most afternoons as well. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's John from Wisconsin.
Hey, John.
I seen your topic about Carrie Lake.
Mm-hmm.
I just turned you on.
Yep.
Oh, my God. She was fantastic.
Oh, she's the
a rock
best.
Star.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she really is.
Doesn't get better.
And, I mean, she got robbed out of 2 elections, and they kind of put her off in that with the Voice of America. She's way more qualified than that job.
Well, there's only so many top jobs, and and there's so many people, and President Trump just recently nominated her to be ambassador to Jamaica. And that's another throwaway job. Yeah, that's another throwaway job. Yeah. That hasn't gone through the confirmation yet. It has to go through confirmation. But that's just a throwaway job. You think she would rather be press secretary or that? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, Carolyn Levitt, she rocks too. But I mean, Carrie Lake could be a perfect choice for that job.
Oh, when President Trump got reelected, everyone said, "Oh, Carrie Lake should be the press secretary." Everybody.
Yeah.
Instant.
Right.
Yeah, she would have been great.
I'd like to see her run for president. I think she's got the right demeanor. She doesn't take any BS from anybody. She knows the media better than the media knows itself.
I don't know about that, because they hate her like they hate Trump, like they hated Sarah Palin. They'll never let Carrie Lake win an election. And I was talking about this earlier in the show. Carrie Lake needs to move to Florida, establish residency here, and run for Congress in Florida. We would proudly elect her. Believe me.
That was good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Very good idea.
I would vote for her any day of the week. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Get out of Arizona.
Yeah, I just seen your topic, and I figured I'd give you a quick call.
Well, thanks so much.
Keep up the good work.
All right. Take care. Yeah. And again, guys, those of you that are members, my wife just put up she made a whole bunch of new emojis for the members, including one honoring the great Charlie Kirk. So if you're a member, you get access to those emojis. and you can use them in the chat, including the Charlie Kirk emoji. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I will see you first thing tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be at the radio station, so I got to get up extra early to drive to the radio station, and I will see you guys then. Thanks.